we have to think of the other side of it, though, because my dad was abusive. I've been in an abusive relationship. It would have been really easy for me to go, I can't trust all men. All my history has taught me that I can't trust men. My mother said I shouldn't, with Sarah and Michaela. Hello, welcome back to another episode of My Mother Said I Shouldn't. My name's Michaela. I'm a qualified life coach, actress, presenter. I wear all sorts of hats. And we're here today with our sponsor, RO Pictures. Hi, Cal.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi, Cal. Woo! And Sarah is the co-presenter.
Hi, I'm Sarah and I am a health coach. Hey, thank you for coming back. And I am opening up today with our subject matter. Drumroll.
Ooh.
My mother said I shouldn't get jealous. Jealousy, right? Because people think that you're an actual psycho as a woman if you're jealous.
Do people think that of men?
I mean, I don't know. Probably. I mean, yeah, if they go a bit crazy with it.
Well, jealousy is quite a negative kind of emotional state, right?
Yeah, but I think we've all experienced jealousy. It's what you do with it, though, no?
Exactly, it is what you do with it. And also, it's fine to be jealous. Actually, I think it's quite a good thing if you're jealous, especially if like, you've got a partner and you're a bit jealous, right? That kind of shows that you care a little bit, no?
It depends how far they go with it. So if you're jealous and you're inhibiting your partner and stopping them from doing things, no. If you're a little bit jealous and you're like, I'm a little bit jealous and I'm watching you and it's a little bit cute, but I'm not stopping you from living your life and being overbearing and weird. Shouldn't say weird, really, but you know, it is a bit weird. Then that is quite cute because it's like, oh, you know, you do care a little bit and you're worried that you're going to lose something you love.
Right? And also, if your partner isn't jealous at all, doesn't care, kind of like...
But no. I don't think the two are linked. Just because someone's not jealous doesn't necessarily mean they don't care.
No.
It might just mean that I had an ex that said to me, he said, if I'm going to go, because I used to be a little bit jealous, but I was very insecure when I was younger. And he said to me, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go. There's going to be nothing you can do about it. So there's no point in getting jealous. And it stuck. I was in my early 20s when he said that. And after that, I was like, oh my God, that is so true. Like, it really is. What's the point in getting jealous? Now, I'm not saying that I haven't been jealous since, because I have. But I've never been the type of person that has wanted to stop people doing certain things because of that jealousy.
Yeah, that is obviously too far.
I think you've used a really interesting word there, Kay, when you said insecurity. I think that does breed a big part of that.
Yeah, because when I was younger, I was very insecure. I feel like I was very insecure. And that brings up a lot of fear and inadequacy. And that makes you feel undeserving of the thing that you have in front of you. And ideally, you want a partner who can work with that. So, like, if you're saying, I feel a little bit insecure and I just need your reassurance, they give you that and then you feel better. Mm-hmm. But when I was younger, I didn't want to own up to that insecurity because I felt like owning up to it made me not a full human, or even though it made me very human, it made me feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Like there was something wrong with me.
Like, was it acknowledging a weakness?
Yeah, like by accepting my insecurities, I am at fault. I am defected. Mm-hmm. There's something wrong with me, when that's not true at all. Everybody has insecurities. It's part of being human, right? And the more we accept them and are responsible for our own insecurities so that we can lean into removing them or doing the things that we need to do in order to feel safe or more secure within ourselves, the easier life becomes. But that definitely comes since I've accepted my insecurities and know that there's nothing wrong with me for having them. I've definitely started to feel more confident in myself, feel more trusting, and therefore less jealous. But when I was younger, I was very jealous. I was very jealous. It didn't help that my first boyfriend cheated on me.
That's
second boyfriend.
That's the thing as well. It could be insecurities in yourself, but it could also be insecurities that you'd noticed within the relationship as well. Like if you're seeing things in that relationship and you know maybe your gut is saying something might not be right, then that could make you feel a little bit more jealous with certain things. So if, like, say my past, being cheated on, when you're cheated on and your partner, you think your partner could be cheating on you. If they are chatting to other girls, just, I'm just having conversation, then you will see more in that than what you might if you were comfortable in your relationship. So it could also be the partner that you have as well and how you feel towards them.
Are you talking about, so with that example, did you know they'd cheated? And then afterwards, every interaction they had with a woman, you were kind of like, is he going to cheat again? Or was it before you knew? I'm wondering.
Do you know what, right? It was actually before. So with my first boyfriend, so this is different boyfriends now. So with my first boyfriend, he hadn't cheated. It was more of an emotional cheat with that, which is obviously worse for women, but we'll talk about that. But like, he hadn't actually cheated physically, but he'd made a friend with a blonde girl. I think we've spoken about this before, but I think with a blonde girl, and after that I was very aware of him talking to other blondes, because I'm very different from that, right? And then my most recent one, well, the 3-year one, before he'd actually cheated, I think I had an idea, right? You do, your gut has you wouldn't want to think it does or it's going to happen, but your gut definitely tells you that something could be a little bit wrong here, and that would create a little bit of jealousy. But it's not even, I wouldn't even just say it was just jealousy. It was like the anxiety and the worry that comes with that, because you think they're gonna go and do something and do something bad, and then I have to leave,
And that's the thing with jealousy, isn't it? It kind of creates, sometimes, not all the time, these false narratives, these stories that we tell ourselves. So we see something, we read into it based on our history, based on our unique lens, and all of a sudden we've created this false narrative that supports infidelity when the person could be innocent, right? And that's the issue when getting into a new relationship after experiencing infidelity or trust issues in a past relationship. We almost judge that new partner with those old lessons that we've learned.
You absolutely do, because I've definitely done that with the most recent guy that I was seeing, and I was bringing things in from my past, and it was so unfair on him, because I've realised it now, but things that he was doing, it's like, you're not that person, but I was still seeing it through the lens of my ex, which is just crazy, isn't it? Like, you just don't think it's going to do that. You think you've spent so much time healing, and you will be, you get into the next relationship and you'll be fine because you've spent so long on your own, and that's not the case. Like,
but that's why they say once bitten, twice shy. It's a defense mechanism you've developed because of the emotional sting of it.
Well,
absolutely.
That's when you learn. That's when neuroplasticity takes place, when you're highly emotional. So if you experience, that's why, we touch they always say, don't they? You touch a hot stove and you learn. Don't touch that again, because a lot of pain came from that. So that's not just physical pain, that's emotional pain as well. So if you've been stung or bitten emotionally, your brain remembers. And it might even remember. So for example, if your partner looked a certain way or had a certain cheekbone or a certain physique, you might link that to a guy you're seeing in the future and go, I can't trust that guy because they've got a similar thing and it's reminding me of that. You might not even be aware of it. It might all be happening on a subconscious level, but the brain and the body remembers. It's crazy, and it is a defense mechanism. And we get it, because when you've been heartbroken, that stays with you, doesn't it? So it's kind of like, and this is why when I was younger, I maybe jumped from relationship to a relationship a little bit too quickly. And I think you'll remember in my late 20s, I took a big time out. I was like, I need to sort up here out. I need to kind of work on myself so that I'm in the best place emotionally for a relationship. I owe it to myself and I owe it to my future partner, so that I don't bring all that baggage with me, because it's so easily done.
And I think... and you don't realise, I didn't realise that I was carrying that baggage until that point, because I'd done a lot of work. And at the same time, I'd done a lot of work on myself and been single for a long time. And then when I went into it, I thought, oh my God, there's still stuff actually there that I've clearly haven't touched on, which is insane. So yeah, but the interesting thing is, though, it's not really jealousy. It's more like mistrust. So I was saying, from what I've brought from my past, I would say it's just the lack of trust in that person, that from when I see certain things and link it back. But obviously it's the lack of trust that's coming from my past relationship. But jealousy, like when I think, do I get jealous often? I don't get jealous often. Not that I can think of, but more like I kind of like protect myself. Like, okay, if I see something I think isn't right, okay, cool, block up, bye. Like, you're gonna hurt me and I'm done. Like, so it's more like a barrier. And I'm like, okay, my trust is broken because you're going to do this. You're going to do something bad. Like my last guy did. Wall up, I'm gone. So it's
So
interesting.
the jealousy sparks a block.
I don't think it's. I think it's
The distrust.
I think it's distrust, but I don't actually know. It's interesting to see the link between like when you're jealous.
Well, when you've been the infidelity in the past caused a breakdown in the relationship, right?
Yeah. So then you're thinking that you're
it's
going
a
to lose
signal.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
then
a signal
I
you're
suppose,
going to lose it. So you
yeah.
leave before
Yeah.
they can leave you. They can hurt you. At least then you're in control and in charge of it.
And it's protection as well, because right when someone does something like that to you, that's a horrible feeling. It knocks you for six, and it takes a long time to heal from that. So I suppose if you walk away from that first, cool, I've recognised something, put the wall up, done, walk away.
But again, it's that false narrative coming in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of this is what I think is going to happen, but how much of that is based on reality?
Yeah.
I think that's when you have to be brave with new relationships.
And communicate. Communicate about your insecurities. That's one thing that me and Tom I was very open with at the start, and I've encouraged him to be more open with. Communicate. When do you need reassurance? Don't expect me to know. I will try and reassure you as much as I can, as much as my EQ tells me that I need to, and vice versa. But I have to be very, very explicit with what I need from Tom. I have to tell him.
Out to you.
I have to go right now. This is what I need from you emotionally. And in the past, I wouldn't have been able to do that because I would have expected him to know. It's almost like I was like, why are you not reading my brain right now? You should know that you need to do this. But his lens is very different to my lens. His experience is very different to my experience. He might not need the reassurance that I need, and vice versa, right? So we have to communicate what those needs are. And I think we're so scared of being vulnerable and telling people how we truly feel for fear of getting rejected that we don't. And then it causes miscommunication. It causes all of these issues. My friend who thought that guy she was seeing was cheating because she's found the toothbrush in his bathroom. Found a toothbrush in his bathroom.
Pink
calls
toothbrush.
me, a pink toothbrush. And she's like, it's clearly cheating, clearly cheating. And I said, well, maybe just ask him, because I clean my bathroom with toothbrushes. I get around the edges, I get in the, I have a toothbrush in my bathroom right now, which is a cleaning toothbrush. I think it's a blue toothbrush. I don't know why that matters. But
Tom,
there we
check
go.
what's happening there. Who's
But
coming
there
in
we
your
go.
bathroom when you're gone?
There we go. Are you joking? I've got enough on my plate with him. I don't need two men. He's enough. Bless him. No, he's great. But, so I said this to her, and she was like, but her previous experience, she's been cheated on a lot. Men have treated her really disrespectfully.
It comes to a point, and it's what you expect.
Yeah,
You actually expect that behaviour. So with men, I was at a stage when I expected a man to behave like this. At one point, they are going to check out another woman. At one point, that's going to mean that they're going to want to be with that woman, and then they're going to leave me, or they're going to cheat, and then I'm going to have to try they're going to ask for forgiveness.
We have to think of the other side of it, though, because my dad was abusive. I've been in an abusive relationship. It would have been really easy for me to go, I can't trust all men. All my history has taught me that I can't trust men. And then I wouldn't get what I wanted, which is ultimately that lifelong partner. So I had a choice. I either leaned in, worked on what my own insecurities were, worked on what my fears were, worked on what my generalizations were, which is men in the past have hurt me, they're going to continue to hurt me. Yours might be men in the past have cheated on me, they're going to continue to cheat on me. They being a generalization for all men, right? Or I accepted that I would wind up lonely, because that's the choice that I have, right?
The thing is with that as well, it's like it is brave. Like Hal was saying, it is brave to get into a relationship. When you've been through something like that, I actually think it takes more courage to open yourself up to step into a relationship after all of that than it is to stay single.
Depends where you see the pain. For me, it was more painful to think of a life alone, because that's something that I've always wanted. I've always wanted that unionship. I didn't grow up with a dad. I don't know. I just had this idea of what it could be. And I feel so lucky I have that with Tom. Like, I wake up every day thanking the Lord. Like, I genuinely feel like I skip universe. I'm not even bloody religious. I am a little bit, maybe. But, I feel very privileged to have that bond that I have with him. And I wouldn't have it if, one, I hadn't have kind of dug into my own insecurities. Two, I hadn't labelled all men as people who are going to cause pain, who are going to abuse me, who are going to neglect me, abandon me, which is all the history of what I've come from. You know, so that was a more painful future than me experiencing heartache again. I've been through that. I came out the other end, and I will be fine moving on. Even with Tom, every single day, we are great now. But I am not disillusioned to the fact that tomorrow we might not be. In a year, we might not be. In 3 years, it could all end. Hopefully not. I mean, we're getting married in 2 weeks. Okay. So I'm hoping not. But I'm not disillusioned to that fact. But I know I will be okay. Mm-hmm. And some people hear that and they go, that clearly means you don't care. No, I love him more than anything. I just know that I will be okay if we did break up. If it wasn't right for us, I'll be all right.
And I think that's nice. That's amazing that you looked at the future and you thought that future is more painful than having that heartbreak and going through that heartbreak. But I think there is a lot of women out there. I know there are a lot of women out there because I've spoken to many of them, or you see it on, you know, social medias when women are putting up saying about being single. And I've known it myself. I feel it myself. I was the fear of, I was so happy in an amazing place, being single, nobody could hurt me, nobody's like, because, you know, I am good like this, that to open yourself up to a relationship is a lot harder, and it can be painful, especially when you have the heartache when it doesn't work. And, you know, going through that recently of the heartache, I'm like, God, I did not miss this feeling, and how that distracts you and takes a lot of time to get over and distracts you from things that you're trying to do in life. When really I reverse back, before I met the most recent person, I'm like, I was fine, I was happy, I was like.
But that's the thing, it comes to priorities, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And it comes to what the individual wants. Some people are really happy being single, right?
Yeah, I
enjoyed being single. I got to the point where I really enjoyed it, but I always wanted that person, and I was very honest with myself. I don't know why. Something inside of me just really wants it. Mm-hmm. And even when I was in the best place I could be, when we were in lockdown, single, incredible times, amazing memories, I still knew I wanted that person to share my life with, to grow old with. I just wanted that. Some people don't want that, and that's fine. That's okay too. Yeah. Each to their own. So if that pain is more linked to experiencing that heartache and less linked to having that person to grow old with, then that's okay too. I guess it's what's right for you. What do you value? What are your values? What's important to you? So some people might be like, okay, well, independence and freedom is way more important to me than family and connection with a romantic partner. Well, in which case, that's your answer, isn't it? So I guess it's up to the individual to figure out what's important to them and what kind of future they want, and go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think we are in a world now when people can make that decision and they have that choice. I suppose you've got that choice too. However, you make sure, I suppose it's with that, if you do have the fear. I was saying, like, I obviously have the fear, and it's not nice to face the heartache, and it has kept me kind of quite happily single. But maybe people that are out there that are single that think, oh, they do fear that. Obviously, I've got you you're always like, Sarah, come on, like, you can support in me to like, you, if this is what you want, because I would obviously love to meet the person. Of course, you'd love to meet the person that's your person, and it just they're going to be there to be your support and work together and live this life with you. Wow, amazing. But it does. It's how do you work through that fear? And that is something that I've been slowly working through. But maybe, I suppose, if there are women out there, that it is a bit of a shame that if maybe they don't know how to face that fear and how to overcome that.
How do you face any fear in life?
You just got to do it. You literally just got to do it.
You've just got to do it and know that you will be okay.
That's it, isn't it? Know you'll be okay, but
like,
just for
the
short
here.
term.
You survived it.
You did survive
and
it.
And to trust yourself that those red flags, that this time you're going to take note. You know, you said that your instinct and your gut was telling you something in one of the relationships. Right, okay, how can I listen to myself when those things are coming up? When I'm feeling it, same with me in one of the relationships, my whole body was telling me to run and I stayed. Mm-hmm. And that was the relationship that burnt me the most.
But what's interesting is when you've had that relationship, it's crazy because there's some memes on like Instagram and stuff about how you've got so many, the relationship that you stay in, there's been so many red flags. You ignore all of
many
them.
red flags.
And then the next person after that, there's literally
One
a tiny
tiny.
half of a flag. And you're like, you are a narcissist. I am gone.
Your hands are way too big.
Yeah. Literally, like you actually just messaged, that was a little bit too short. That's really rude, your message. So I'm just going to just block you now. So bye.
It's like our pal the other day. She met someone in a night out, didn't she? And she met someone in a night out. He hadn't messaged her straight away or in the night. And she was like, he's not messaged me. How rude. So he messages in the morning. She messages him back like when she's ready or whatever. She messages him back. This is maybe like an hour or so later. And then he messages her straight back and she's like, moment of ick, 11:24 a.m. We were like, what? And she was like, too soon, babe. Too soon. I was like, how is that too soon? Like, that shows that he's interested, right? You know, it's
crazy.
It's crazy the narratives that we build up. But jealousy is a brilliant topic. And we also need to discuss jealousy in the workplace and jealousy in different areas, not just in romantic relationships. But maybe we'll do that on a different episode.
We do. But one thing I want to say though, jealousy is very natural. Like, so I was like, we love the caveman times, don't we? So, right, we do love the cave people. So it is literally, it goes right back to caveman time of caveman doesn't want his woman with another man because then he might bring up a child that isn't his and he invested in the child, and then the woman is worried about the emotional cheat because then the man will leave her on her own to obviously fend for herself. So it's actually it's a completely natural thing. Yeah, a completely natural thing.
It is natural.
As long as it doesn't go too far. Like a little bit of jealousy, be like, oh, I'm feeling that, and you communicate it, brilliant, great, that's worked out amazingly. However, if you don't and you keep it quiet and you think they should know that I'm not happy with this and they should come into the conversation, or then you go.
So it's also about like the ethics in the relationship and what your expectations are from each other, and having kind of like that emotional awareness as well of what that person needs, reading into the signals. Tom can be a little bit jealous at times, but I know the signals. So I know when he needs that reassurance. I think women are a little bit more in tune to pick up on those signals than men. I don't know, that's a generalisation. Some men might disagree. Carl, what do you think?
I get where you're coming from. I think from a guy's perspective is that when we're jealous, we don't generally get to talk about or feel like we can talk about it, because I think you touched on it before, whereas it maybe makes us look weak.
Right. And they can't be seen as weak.
Yeah.
They want to be seen as masculine. They don't want to be seen as insecure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then on the other side, a girl doesn't want to look. You don't want to look jealous because you don't want to. You don't want to look. I don't want to be. And that girl.
But then
I don't
that's
like to say that girl because who is that girl? Like that poor girl. Like we're all for, like, you know. But yeah, you don't want to be the type of. Oh, I don't want to be that girl.
So that's when the games start coming.
Yeah.
Right. So people start playing games. So I think you're cheating on me, or I think you're doing X, Y, Z. So I'm going to pull away and play hard to get and do all these different things, or I'm going to have an excuse to have a go at you, which I'm going to mask as something else when really it's because I think you're being disrespectful or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's a huge conversation.
And that's where the communication has to come in. But what I want to ask you is though, right, the different types of cheating, because I'm really interested in this. So different types of cheating. If a guy likes a girl's picture on Instagram, because this is a thing that this happens a lot. This happens a lot, right? If a guy likes a girl's picture on Instagram, your boyfriend, right, is that cheating?
No.
Right, but if it's a picture of her in her bikini, what do we think about that? Not cheating, it's not cheating, but what do we think about that?
I think
jealousy-wise, or not jealousy, or just how would you deal with that situation?
One, I don't know who Tom's liking pictures of. I don't look. I don't concern myself. He tells me he trusts me. I tell him I trust him, and we leave it at that. If we need a bit of reassurance, I'm an actress. I've just come back from filming, so I spent a long time one-on-one with a guy. So all the way through, I was reassuring him. He got a little bit jealous, understandably. I would get jealous. Mm-hmm. But I don't troll through his troll. I don't look through his Instagram.
But what about the girls that do though? So what about the girls that do and they find that their partners are liking pictures on Instagram?
This is the thing. Nothing good is going to come from that kind of behaviour. Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing good. You have to have that open communication and say what your boundaries are. I would prefer it if you weren't liking pictures of other women in bikini. If that's your boundary, if that makes you feel a bit insecure. If you're in a relationship with a guy who loves you and respects you, I'll go, cool, man, that's fine. Like, whatever. If Tom said to me, I don't want you liking pictures of a guy, but I did it the other day. My co-actor had his top off. I liked his picture and I put, whoa. You know what I mean?
Flames for like, well done.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's a pal, he's a friend. I've got to know him. Like, there's nothing more in it.
So I suppose it's a situation. So you need to know who the person is that they're liking, and how do you feel in that relationship? Are you insecure anyway? But it's quite interesting, because I think I know of a lot of conversations and heated conversations that come from men liking pictures of women on Instagram.
This is the thing. When Tom was single, he'd have done that. Without a doubt, he was probably liking everyone's.
Exactly,
but
when he's single.
He's very respectful to me, actually. So I trust that he wouldn't do that, to be honest. But if it was a friend, so say if you were in a bikini, and because he's friends with you, and he liked your picture, I won't give two craps, because you're his pal. You know what I mean? He's celebrating you.
Right, so that is a difference if it's the pals.
I mean, if it's some stranger, it's a bit weird. But I'm not going to go searching for that.
From back to back. So, but you're not going to go searching. However, when it does happen, or people have noticed it, or if they've seen it, they're like, hang on a minute, why? Or messaging on Instagram as well. When you're messaging other girls on Instagram, it's like, oh, hi, nice, blah, 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 blah. If they're not friends, why are you messaging other girls on Instagram?
I mean, that is a bit of a red flag. So if Tom was messaging someone who he wasn't friends with on Instagram, that's a bit weird. Like, I don't, if it's not a work colleague, or it's not, it's a little bit strange. It's kind of like, what you doing there? I'm not sure.
Well, this is why I think social media, though, has made it a lot more trickier when it comes to what's the line between what is okay for,
what's acceptable,
what makes you look a bit psycho if you mention that you're not happy with, or what should be.
And it makes it really easy for people to open up new conversations with people they don't know all the time. And what just came up for me there is a bit of harmless flirting. So in-person harmless flirting, I don't mind Tom flirting with other people. Like, I don't really want to see it, but go ahead, have a flirt, do what you want to do. I'm a bit flirty.
I love that, because so many girls would not be okay with that.
No, fine. As long as I don't know, I don't want to see it. Just go and have your flirt. I love me flirt. We'll have a bit of a flirt with other people, but I'm with him and he's with me, and that's okay. That's fine.
Do you know what I think it is, though? You guys have such a strong trust, and such a respect for each other, knowing that whatever either one of you are doing, it's not in a negative, it's not in a way that is going to threaten the relationship, or it's going to be in disrespect to either one of you. And I think that is the difference you guys have built. There's a foundation there, and I suppose if you are in a relationship and you have that foundation and you know that that's there, then you would be less upset if your partner's having a little flirt with someone at the bar. To me, I would probably struggle with that, because I don't want to. From my past, I'd see that and I'd be like, I'm not too okay
not a stranger.
With
like, I mean, maybe a stranger. I don't know, but I wouldn't know about it. How would I know what he's doing? I don't concern myself with that, because he's coming home to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there's no concern. And when I say flirting, I mean, I'm chatty. So if I'm on a night out, I'm going to chat to people. I'm going to have a little chat. I'm going to have a little giggle. Some might see that as flirting. I see it as being friendly. Tom's quite similar. He's very chatty. He has giggles.
So it's more So what you're talking about more is like a friendly chat and banter, rather than a flirt is like when someone's being like, I don't know. I would see flirt as in I'm being flirty, like, oh yeah, and like kind of like, oh, you look good, like that kind of flirt.
But I think, so there needs to be an element of respect. But again, it's about open communication. Because some couples might be fine with their partner really flirting and being like, swingers, you come home to me. But no, it doesn't even necessarily mean that they're acting on it. It could just mean that, get it out your system and come home to me. Some people might say, no, I don't really want you chatting to any strangers, because I find that, for me, that's just a bit uncomfortable. You have to, with your partner, establish the ethics that govern that relationship together. And if something comes up, so say if I, was at a bar and chatting to someone, which has happened in the past, right early on in our relationship, and Tom said, I don't really, that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, then I respect that.
Which, how amazing is it that he's actually come up and said that? Again, it comes down to communication. Like,
it comes down to communication. Now he probably doesn't give two craps, because, we're buying a house and we're getting married and we've been together for years, and that trust grows. The longer you're with that person, well, hopefully, this is my experience, that trust is growing. So it is all about the communication. And I know, for one, for example, I will introduce Tom to all of my friends and my boy mates. I mean, he steals them all now. All of my boy mates are now his boy mates. He sees them more than what I see him. But I want that, because I don't want him to ever feel threatened in any way, because that's not good for our relationship. I don't want to make him jealous. And that's another thing. When I was younger and insecure, used to, if I felt like they were looking elsewhere, I'd be like, I'll make you jealous, which is just silly games to play. But I get it, I understand it from that mindset that I used to be in. But anyway, it's a huge topic.
It is.
And we should certainly do another episode on this.
I think we should, because I think there's a lot of it'd be interesting to see of our viewers if anybody can write in about their experience with it. Especially social media fascinates me and how you deal with that, and also like partners flirting with other people and how you feel about that. I would love to hear other people's experiences and stories, because it is such a tricky subject, and it you know, obviously you're emotionally involved, right? So emotions evolved, you might, you know, things get a little bit more heated.
And this is the thing, like the female brain is more in tune with the limbic system, isn't it? So they experience emotions more. So what you were saying earlier about jealousy coming up and then women taking more action on it, that makes sense, right? So that they do appear as psycho, and men also have what Kel said, that kind of like this air of must be masculine, can't be vulnerable, can't be seen to be insecure, so then they maybe don't act on it so much, but it would still get in the way because it's an unspoken thing, isn't it, that will breed into resentment, X, Y, Z.
Do you know what? I think from all of that and from everything was said, genuinely, just chat to your person. Chat, and don't be afraid of it, and don't think, oh, I'm going to be, as you're saying, don't think, oh, I'm going to look crazy, I'm going to look vulnerable, I'm going to look weak, I could be embarrassed because maybe I say something and they make me
I find it sexy.
I find it sexy if a man has if someone's like literally communication conversation, if you can have that conversation, I find it sexy as well. I'm drawn to it completely. If someone can't have it, I'm kind of thinking, oh, I don't think we're going to work.
If Tom comes up to me and goes, you did this, it's made me feel like this, can we talk about it and set up some shared ground rules together, I'm like, fair play, man.
Yes, let's take a seat, let's have a conversation, and
right. Let's do it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Let us know your thoughts on this episode. My mother said I shouldn't be too jealous.
Yes, let us know. It would be great to hear your stories as well, and how you feel and what you've done, and if you've got any crazy jealousy stories, oh my goodness, tell us. We'd love to hear them.
Or any jealousy stories that aren't crazy.
Or any, yeah. I mean,
just any.
We're up for any, really.
Thank you so much for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this episode if you want to see more of it. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Bye.